about our topic for today, which is empowering youth voices and rethinking the electoral system. Empowering youth voices and rethinking the electoral system. There is no way we are going to talk about Nigerian politics without having to talk about election, having to talk about people in power, people in position of authority, having to talk about the youth and how inclusive we want them to be. Over the weekend, I saw a video of I think a Zimbabwe or something, an African country, a woman that was saying she's a bad woman or something, something.
Oh,
Now,
I saw that too.
I want us to talk about youth. Last week we talked about youth inclusion in politics with Ayodele Adio, and today we're going to talk about how to empower the youth voices. It's not only about saying, okay, let's include them in politics. What steps are we going to take to ensure that, okay, they're actually a part of these things? At the moment, it seems as if they can't be voted for. But the best they can do right now is to vote for people, vote for the right people, vote for the right mandate. Now, how do we do that? So I'd like to ask us, we ladies, to just talk about it now. How can we encourage more young people to participate in politics? Because I'm very sure if you ask an average Nigerian right now, no, you will not want to say, last year election, I have my voter's card, I was so ready to step out to vote, and that day I was not even working, so I didn't have to go to work. I was prepared. I was ready to trek the trek. I had my water. I've applied my sunscreen. Okay, today I'm stepping out. Only for me to find, after walking like an entire 3 streets, only for me to find out that my polling unit was changed from where it's supposed to be. My polling unit was supposed to be very close to my house, but it was changed to Agege. And there's no movement at the time. So from my place to where I was changed to, it was like a very long space. So I could not vote. You can imagine having my voter's card. I stepped out, going from one polling unit to another, asking, okay, is this unit D, is this unit D, is this unit... I ended up wasting my entire time. So if you should ask me to vote next time, I will tell you, okay, I do not want to waste my time, because you would tell me this is my polling unit and the next thing you're changing my polling unit. So how do we ensure that we as youth right now be a part of the electoral system? Because sooner or later we are the future leaders of tomorrow. That's if there's still a tomorrow for us.
Oh, well, I'll first say that there's a tomorrow
Always a
for
tomorrow for sure.
all of us.
There's always
Okay.
a tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Okay.
But I would say at first, youths are to be voted for, not just to go and vote. That's not why we are here.
Right.
And I'll say a personal story. In 2019, I contested for the State House of Assembly elections in my constituency.
Okay.
Now, that was my first time becoming a politician.
Okay.
And then also, advocating that people vote for me for policies that I want to implement. That was the first time ever that I was going to go out to campaign for elections, being a youth. And at that time, I would tell you that I was about 23. Oh, wow. And then you can imagine that at that age, I'm thinking about, okay, being a youth to be voted for.
Right.
You get... after the elections, I came third in that election, running under a small party, and this is not a major party. So that's where I can tell that youths are actually to be voted for. Just like Ayodele has said, just like Captain Shakira has said, that we just need to persevere, consistency. In 2021, there was a difference from 2019 election to 2021 elections from youths, which means that youths came out to vote more in 2021 than in 2019. Now, if you bring it back to 2023, we still have higher number of youths coming out to vote in 2023 than in 2021. Yeah. You understand? So there's progress. It might not be so huge, but then there's progress of how youths are actually coming out to vote and also ensure that their voices are being heard. And then you see that most of the time, after voting, that's not where it ends. Yeah. To be sincere, there's a stage where they take the ballot paper to the local government, areas to go and do counting all over again. Well, after they have counted at, the polling units. So most of the time, we youths go out, we, just do thumbprints and go back home and assume that our votes is probably counted somewhere. Yeah. But then it doesn't happen like that, because the LGA still has to count, the INEC officials have to
be uploaded to the IVR.
Yes. Yeah. That was even before the whole IVR thing came. So then there's INEC officials accrediting that, okay, this thing that you have counted is correct. Between those space or those processes, that's when all those fraudulent activities happen, where there's ballot snatching, where there's
altering of results.
You know, there's also there's always this voting
additional votes that is added.
That's happening. So I believe that youths are being empowered by, as the year runs out, when we see the realities of things that are happening, and the fact that we are now speaking more, like, to each other. Most of the time, we find situations where we're just talking generally about random things, but now we're intentionally talking about politics and how we can be involved in politics. And that will always bring me to my question, that how many of us youths are actually ready, you understand, to go out, regardless of that change of polling unit, because it happened a lot in 2023 election, where they changed people's polling units. Is an act of also
making sure that
people don't get to their polling unit. It's all tactics. It's all political
strategy.
Tactics. You understand? So how do we ensure that, yes, they have changed my polling unit, yes, they have done this to try and enfranchise me from voting and exercising my right? How do I ensure that I still get to that, you know, polling unit to vote? Because police will try to stop you on election day to tell you that you are too far, but I have to be able to speak up to say, I have this so date to vote here. My polling unit has been changed, so I have to walk to that place. That's why they always advise that you go out with your ID card and something on election day, because the truth is that the police will not harass you just for walking or trying to head to where you are going to. The police will not harass you for that, but the police will harass you when you're trying to
it's just a gallivanting all around.
Yes, and you are going aimlessly. You don't know where you are going to. You cannot defend where your polling unit is. You cannot defend that you have a voter's card. You cannot defend anything. I think those are the places where police are, you know, going to ask you questions and ask you to go back.
Now, God's beauty, let me ask you, and let's talk about 2023 election. Yes, you were a part of the election. Yeah, if not as a leader or a member of the House of Rep or whatever,
like
you wanted to step out to vote. Now, how did it go for you? Because for me, my experience that day was not good. I had to come back to social media. I had to start watching channels to see what's up. And then there was even a rumor that some channels were being compromised, that you will not get accurate results from some channels that you get from some channels.
They delayed the time for the result now. I think it took us like the next day or so.
It's all political strategy.
It's all, before we could even get the results.
2021 or so, we heard the word inconclusive. Then I think that same election, they had to go back to vote in some parts of Magodo. They had to go back to vote in some part. So tell me, what really happened? What played out?
To be honest, I mean, you guys already know where I'm from, right? So already, Ajigula is a very last area. So it was just a lot, to be honest. I've always seen, I mean, in that particular place, right, there's always this, there's this knowledge of the APC are meant to win instead of other parties. So once it's not going in favor, the guys around there are always helping them make sure that it goes in favor. So almost everybody there, to be honest, I understand the whole, youth went out to vote, but in my area, see, many of us didn't go out to vote. We only just what we did was to probably push other people that already had their card, because see, we are even talking about the election itself. For you to even have your voter's card was a problem. Yes. Let's go back to what we are talking about, the whole civil service thing and all. See, it was a problem for many of us to even get our voter's card. I didn't get mine, and so are many of my friends like that, because see, there's this come back the next day. Oh, sorry, this network is not working. Oh, the other network is not working. Yeah. Brother, how can network not be working? Like, how do you sit down there and the facilities or the tools you're supposed to use to work are not functioning, and you're sitting down there comfortable? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not even, let's not even, I don't want to talk about the election thing, because the truth is, I feel like that's more like a normal thing that's already going on. Now, if I'm to talk about the previous chairmanship election, there was somebody that was supposed to win in Ajurumi, right? There was someone that was supposed to win. Let me use the market women style. With my koro eyes. Do you understand? With my koro eyes, these niggas actually passed with cutlass and all of that. So they went there, they took the ballot paper. The people that were there, like, doing their own voting in and all, they took the ballot paper, took everything, like, they scattered that whole place. And guess what?
To be clear, the Ajurumi is a local government.
Yes, not Jeremy local government. So, like, that area, that day, oh God, I see. To be my, it was a lot happening. So with that experience they had in the chairmanship, everything. So when the 2023 election came in, everybody was like, you know what? I don't have the power for this. Because if you were there, when you, like, if you were present during that chairmanship election and you saw what happened with your eyes, you will not have the mind to actually step out and say you want to go and vote somebody. So the least we could do then was, we could actually only push people that they already had their voters card and were willing to vote. Not after the whole chairmanship thing, not after the whole come back tomorrow, we don't have network, so paper is out, or they don't have light, or they are trying to power their gen. It's just one super story or the other. After all of those things, do you not say we should go and vote?
This is still your electoral franchise.
Well,
no matter what happens, it is still your franchise. During the last year's election, there was a case of a lady that was badly hurt. Her face almost fell off and all of that. There were some that they were stabbed, and there were a lot of back and forth that we saw on the social media stage. Now, we will not because it will not, like we would say in my side, we will not because we drank a bad water today, not drink water for the rest of our lives. So we're not because, yes, I know there are some traumatizing experience when it comes to election. And then I think, let's not even go to the older generation. They do not believe in election. The other generation did not believe in coming out for election. On that day, that's when they will fix to wash clothes. That's the day they will fix to take you of the house and spend time with their kids and husband.
I completely disagree with that.
Tell me.
Somehow,
I completely disagree with that. And that's because if you look at the statistics of people who actually come out to vote on election day and wait till the end, you see, it's those people with walking stick.
Yeah.
It's those people...
Sorry. The people with walking stick and our parents' generation, they are different.
I'm trying to tell you.
So our parents' generation
I'm going to give my mom and dad, for example. My mom and dad, for example, they wake up as early as 5:30 a.m. to start rallying round people to go to their polling units to vote for election. And I will tell you that most of the time when you stand at that polling unit, the number of older generation that you see, they take election very seriously because most of them move from the military regime to the democratic system. So they already have that belief that unless I come out and I fight for this thing, this thing is not going to change. You understand? And when they are done, they are still the same set of people that would get in their car, start their key, and then go straight to the local government offices to ensure that my vote got there safely, which most of us don't do. So if you say the older generation, if you really go and check facts and statistics, the older generation have been voting better than the youth over and over and over again.
I think I would agree.
We have to take a quick break right now, and then we'll talk about the upcoming generation. It's time to go for a short break. We'll be right back in a jiffy.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges.
With the growing youth population and very little engagement.
That is a ticking time bomb.
We're blessed people with a diverse culture who have a lot to say.
And yes, we are talking.
It is important we drive conversations that informs, inspires, and influences thoughts and actions.
If we say there is beauty in diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture.
We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation.
As we are the hope for the future.
Yesterday's conversation shaped today.
What are you saying to shape your tomorrow?
We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
First of all, your lack of sleep is affecting your appetite, okay? Because you not getting enough sleep is actually affecting your hormones, the hormones that, that regulate your appetite, your hunger and satiety. Do you understand? So your lack of sleep is already causing havoc in terms of your weight, in terms of your eating, in terms of your productivity, in terms of your brain power. So many things. You're more irritable, you're snappy. It's affecting relationships. It's affecting so many things. So our lifestyle is actually not helping us. And so but what we do, we have to be intentional. So that's the first thing, is to be intentional and say, you know what, I cannot kill myself. I cannot kill myself. I have to actually take my health and my life into my hands. Okay, so that's first step. So.
Glad to have you back on our hot topic for today. We are still talking about empowering youth voices, rethinking electoral systems for tomorrow. And we've been talking back and forth on the last election, and we are still about to dig deeper into the conversation. Now, I want us to talk about, you've talked about our parents' generation, we've talked about our grandparents' generation, I mean the baby boom pass and all of that. Now, let's talk about, okay, we know that the current generation right now is Gen Zs. I don't know what they will call the generations, our kids' generation.
What do they call them? They already have a name
Alpha,
now.
I think
Gen
Generation
Alpha.
in
Now
the
let's talk about Gen Alpha. We know that they are 10 times smarter than us. We understand. But
not me.
really?
No,
I've not even finished using my brain.
You will not say they are smarter than us.
Okay.
You just say the time and age is what differ. Because, I mean, yeah, when you were growing up, would you agree that you were smarter than your parents?
Oh, yes, I will.
So, I mean, that's
So,
it.
so it means I should agree that my child right now is
Just
smarter than
agree,
I am.
because there's more civilization. What they get to learn is, you know, they are seeing things, and they definitely have to like aim more than you. You're not going out now. You now have an age range. That's why I explained this.
Let us go deep into that. Now, I want us to talk about how to include electoral system, election stories in our system, in our academic calendars, in our curriculums and all of that. There was a time I heard that they do not teach government in schools anymore, history or so.
It's history, not government.
Right?
History.
Yeah, and for governments, they will not teach a science student government.
But what they do is civic education. So when you're in SS1, you do like all around the subject. So you treat civic education as well. So civic education is more like the surface for government.
Okay, now let's talk about how to prepare the young kids for future electioneering process. In a way, before we finish 2 times, that my child will be 18. And when he's 18, I need to start preparing him or her for election. I need to start telling him that, okay, there's something called election in Nigeria. It happens every 4 years. There's local government election. There's governorship election, gubernatorial governorship election. There's presidential election. Now, how do you think we can start inculcating in our kids what election should really, I mean, normal election should look like? Because they've seen us gone for election and come back to lament about, oh, how our day went, how everywhere was, how the sun was cautioned, how our votes did not count and all of that. They've read it on social media how election in Nigeria is nothing to write home about. So how do you think we can inculcate in our children, as a teacher, as a parent, as a Sunday school teacher, as a mosque, are they called mosque teachers? Imams.
Yeah.
How do we educate them on electioneering process? Because in a way, they have to be a part of it. Tomorrow, we might not be able to step out anymore. They'll be the one to do hashtag vote for this, hashtag vote for that. And of course, there's no polling unit on social media until you come to the actual polling unit. So how do we help all of this?
So I know that there's pre-election preparation, there's post-election preparation, there's election preparation itself. In a way, what we have to start telling is the success stories of, you know, politicians or people who have implemented good things in each state. So if I say Lagos, for example, what has a governor done to maybe better the lives of a certain, you know, a certain constituency or a certain state? How do we tell those stories in, you know, in schools, so that these children also have the mindset of, okay, when you go into this space, this is what I can do. Most of the time when we hear stories, it's the bad news that always sells. It's just like when they're in the university, when they're citing examples of people, is that bad thing that they did that they want to talk about, because they feel like that's the only thing that sticks in the mind. So these kids have seen that there's always violence during election. There's always killings, murder, this. But then they don't know that that day is also a determinant of what their future can become. You understand? They also don't know that they don't have a, like I always say that you don't have a choice but to show up on election day. Like you don't have, if whether I have my voter's card or I
do not
don't, maybe due to the electoral tactics, I've been refused to have my voter's card. I will still show up to watch people vote.
Yeah.
That's also a part of, also being part of the process. So it's like telling them that no matter what, you have to show up. The world is coming to an end. This is happening. Show up and show out for your country. It's not about yourself anymore. It's not even about maybe the person you are voting for. It's not that I'm showing up for my country to vote for this person, or ensuring that this person will not use thugs to, disenfranchise everybody from being, represented.
But the painful thing is these political talks and hooligans are still youth.
That's what I'm trying to say. If we have the same youth as the talk, so why should me as the youth now decide that, okay, I don't want to be part of anything? These people chose to be, if youth chose to be part of the bad, why can't youth also choose to be part of the good?
Yeah.
So it's always like there was political talks too during our parents' time where it was still youths that were doing it, and they were also youths. So there's always going to be the bad and the good and the ugly in every situation. You understand? So we always have to put it in mind that while these so people, because if you show only the bad side of everything, it means that you're only teaching, or you're only showing that if you ever want to become anything, or you ever want to be part of it, this is the side that is safe for you. If you're a thug, you have political backing, you have maybe the chairman that wants you to,
a godfather
you have a sponsor. But then there can be situations where you can have good sponsors to ensure that when you go out to vote, or when you need to rally people to vote for a particular candidate, maybe after you have done campaign, and you want to make it easy for people to go and vote, how are you going to ensure that, okay, I'm going to get a boss as a good sponsor, or as a godfather, I'm going to get a boss that guarantees safety for this set of youths, or for this set of people to get to the election, vote and let their vote be counted for, and then come back safely.
Now let's deviate a little bit from election matters. Let's talk about policy making. I think an average youth right now believes the policies in Nigeria does not really favor the youth. There was a time they said, okay, stop binance. Okay, stop. I don't want to talk about even betting, because I don't think we have more. Yes, we have more youth doing betting, but an average youth, let's just say like 60-40%, right? We have 60% or even 70% of Nigerian youth better. But there was a time they were even withdrawing all these licenses. We have Nigerian youth doing cryptocurrency. Not everybody's doing 9 to 5. Some are doing cryptocurrency, some are doing airdrops, some are doing all of these things. There was a time that the government had to place a ban on it, that they even arrested Binance CEO or something. So it feels as if the policies of Nigeria does not work for a youth. If you should see me driving car in the road, you stop me. You believe somebody bought the car for me. You will not believe it was my money that got me the car. It's even worse for guys, right? Because for a lady, they want to respect the fact that, okay, she's a lady, okay, auntie, when push comes to shove, tip them, and then you drive off. But for a guy, they want to think that, okay, your money is from a wrong route. And that was what happened. That was what led to NSAS in 2020, right? But how do we ensure that the priorities of the youth actually matter in policy making? How do we beg or inform our policy makers, our governors, our local government chairmen? Okay, we the youth, we started from being children, and we are growing to become teenagers, from teenagers to youth to young adults to wherever we are. So if my life does not, because I have money to buy a car of like a bigger car, I want to go for a lesser car, because in Nigeria it's not safe. Maybe even robbers will attack me. Let's not even talk about robbers. Policemen will stop me. Last man will stop me. This and this and this and that. Or when I go for my car, if my car is roadworthy, they want to skip. Do you understand? So if me as a lady can be feeling this much brunt, how much more a guy? And Nigerians right now, if you're not looking responsible, they believe you're a bad person. How do we ensure that everybody is a part of our policy making?
Before you talk, sweetheart, I feel like it's a two-way thing. All right. So I remember when we had this conversation around, maybe not with you guys, right? Where I know there's a conversation around, we are the lazy youth, but I'm very sure every one of us.
Oh yeah, we heard it. We heard it.
And I also remember how talking about a particular, when we are reviewing the newspaper and all of that, and you see the same youth, like you're talking about, are the same youth doing the whole terrorism, the same youth are the one, just like she said, they are the ones doing the whole cutlass thing, they are the ones doing the whole shake pay and all. And now you expect me to make laws in favor of you when what you're showing me is the bad side of you. So it's a two-way thing, right? Now, when it comes to the policymakers, these people in question, the first question is, these people that are writing out these policies, do they even follow their policies?
Right.
Right?
Say that again.
So, yeah, do they even follow their policies? Now, like I said, it's a two-way thing. So in order for us to come to a balance, we have to ensure that we have the right people on seat that are even making these policies and they are following it. They are making policies not due to probably nepotism or favoritism. They are doing it because that is what we need at that time, right? Then this, the youth in question, now, we understand that the country is hard. We understand that there's a whole lot of things going on. But, I mean, if other people are making it, if you're following the right path and making it, why can't you do the same? Because I remember checking out the news and the numbers at which is either one person is stealing or one person is causing one economic havoc or the other. And you expect these policymakers to take you serious. Like how now? Who does? Now, let me quickly chip in something. When we talk about this whole youth participation and all of that. Now, I remember having Chief come on board, and to be honest, that's why my questions were well prepared for today, to be honest, right? Because you can't tell me that you want youth to be in place, or you want them to run for office, why I'm paying 100 million naira for me to run for president, for a president's seat. How do I get that money? Where will I get it from? Now, I also understand the part where you guys are saying, oh, it's the political party that are helping them out, that are sponsoring it. It's not for free now.
Yeah.
It's not for free. So how do we now wake up one morning and keep saying, oh, we're not seeing youth doing this, we're not seeing them in the electoral system, we're not seeing them in the governance policies and all of that, when you guys are the ones making very, very funny laws, very interesting laws. So it's a two-way thing. We have to now come together and agree on what terms we are to follow. That's all I have to say.
Well, your final talk, because we have to go on a break.
I want to say that we are still operating in the 1999 Constitution.
Yeah. Okay. As amended.
As amended. Yes. And there's still a lot of amendments going on back and forth. And then most bills that are being passed now are being passed based on like the current realities that we have now. Now, how many of us youths or people in general actually know the kind of policies or the kind of bills that are meant to be passed? For example, the national anthem bill now, it was somebody that just woke up one morning and felt like, I need to change this national anthem. That's his own policy. That's his own, yes, it's not relating to my childhood or whatever. So we always have to think about, first of what constitution are we, abiding by. Secondly, in what spaces are the youth that have gotten into these positions, what kind of policies or bills are they even passing? If you don't know about bills, what will you pass?
Kiki, let's wrap it there. The thing is, like Kiki said, you have to show up. You do not have a choice. This is our own Nigeria. Even if you decide to travel to Canada tomorrow, you will still come back to Nigeria for maybe your mommy's burial or maybe a party or something. Nigeria will always be our home country. And together we can make Nigeria a better place for you, for me, for my child, for my grandkids, and for all of us to ensure that our Nigeria is truly that land of milk and honey. Well, we have to go on a short break right now to return with the book review, where we are going to be reviewing a book for you. Please stick around. We'll be back in a moment.
Nigerian foods. I know that a lot of people say, oh, with Nigerian foods, you can still But I find that a lot of Nigerian foods are very heavy on carbs, and it might not necessarily aid your weight loss journey, number one. So I'm trying to look at the flip side of, okay, if you really, really want to say, okay, you know what, I want to be quite intentional about my food, you know, I want to eat right, I want to have XYZ protein, and you may end up spending way, you know, more than, you know, you budget or more than you can even afford. That's on one hand. Then on the second hand, you talk of snacking, healthy snacking. Really, snacking. I don't know the snack. That is it gala or is it munchies? Mini.
Your problem
what? No. I'm just saying generally. I mean, you know, because even I'm trying to look at the cost effectiveness of it. You want to snack on apple. Apple is like 500 naira or how much now? No, really. I mean, because this is something that touches everyone.
It's time to review the book Unbroken by Tosin Eniake, and we've been talking about this book since last week, and today we're going into chapter 3 of the book. This is the part where I started to grow emotional about this book, because at some point I was angry. I wish I could speak to the characters of the book and say, okay, you see that, why are you this dense? Why are you this foolish? Right? But that was the main essence of the book. The book was, let me just do a quick review for those that have not read the book or heard about, we talk about the book. The book is family-oriented book. It talked about please remind me.
Tinuade,
the child of Tinuade, Shalewa. Yes, this book is talking about Shalewa, how she grew up with her parents, Tinuade and Olawale, and how her life took a different turn. At this time, Shalewa was already preparing to write her WAEC, and her parents could never afford her WAEC fare. But then the money later came out from the mother, the 2K and the 2,000 naira she got from Sister Judith in church or something. Thereafter, she was able to put in for her WAEC. She had two crushes at the time. She was crushing on 2G, and she was crushing on one boy that is a UI at the time. But then, you know, Shalewa is a very brilliant child, so she passed her WAEC, and then she got admission to University of Ibadan to meet Romoke, her sister. What the bottom line of chapter 3 was just Romoke, Shalewa's transition from secondary school to University of Ibadan, and how life got a bit more easy for their parents. You should look out for this book, because I don't know, this is the title of Broken. Just go and search for it and ensure that you read it. So when we are analyzing it, we are understanding what we are saying. This is where we wrap up the show for today, Monday, to come your way again tomorrow, Tuesday. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button, like, comment, and then share our content to your family and friends. Till we come your way again tomorrow, my name is Omotoshola Sharamaki. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining me on the show.
You're welcome.
Please do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.